live.
Yes. I'm texting right now with Craig Rutledge, who is a fictitious character responsible for... We have internet issues right now, at least on wireless. We're on YouTube apparently, though, Jackson?
Oh, yeah. Ethernet-wise, we're good.
It's a Tim McKernan Show podcast. He was going to come in with the issues to the studio, but I said we're live on YouTube.
So, yeah, caution.
Caution, indeed. Oh, it's so good. Feels so good, Peter. The program's called the Tim McKernan Show podcast. It is presented to you by James Carlton of the Carlton State Farm Insurance Agency. It is presented to you by Mark Hanna of Evergreen Wealth Strategies, online at evergreen-ws.com. And it is presented to you by Seth Goldcamp of Design Air Heating and Cooling, who is just in here in studio with Alan Dadeville. Alan Dadeville winning on TMA the Design Air Heating and Cooling Emailer of the Month and a $10,000 HVAC system. Don't you agree with me? Because that essentially is your job.
Right. Just like it's our job to talk about the Billikens for money.
And what's the other thing that is the latest conspiracy theory?
That Martin shut down all smut.
Oh, yeah, dear Deidre. That if you had a business, doing what Seth did for Email of the Day would be the move for a prize.
I would say that that's a good idea.
Yeah.
For a business.
So give away some big prize that costs you, at your cost, X, but then the return on investment is going to be, take your pick of whatever that multiple is. It's kind of logical to me.
Yeah.
If you're interested in that, Team McKernan at InsideSTL.com. If you have questions you want answered, comments you want, hate mail, erotic stories, anything is welcomed for this podcast, which is called Questions from the Audience. New Stupiracy season just debuted today. Helen Keller, was she really what she says she was?
Right.
That's Riz's first Stupiracy.
Yeah. Available everywhere that podcasts are found.
That's right. And so that is up on YouTube as well.
Yeah.
Let's see how my internet situation is, papers. I hope I can get into my emails and answer as many queries as possible. I can't see YouTube. I'm not in there right now.
Libby Jackie DiCaprio with the South Carolina Avatar.
Yeah.
He's fired up about us going live. And then Alan Dadeville, who was also in the studio, said, no lie, had to hit the brakes hard, and this giant check just smacked me in the head.
How about that?
It was a real giant check, and a handsome-looking one, too.
Well, Jackson, I know you were a preteen when we were doing Girls Next Door, not even 10 years old for our first one. And I would have the responsibility, nay, honor, of handing a lass a giant check after she would win each Girl Next Door of the Month and Girl Next Door of the Year. That was my gig.
Yeah. Where you just
St. Louis University High School was like so proud.
Yeah.
They'd never had somebody rise to that.
Is there like a company who does that, or were you like just buying?
Yeah, it was just a printing company, and I believe Jay Boyd, who you now know from Hot Shots, but he worked with us at Inside STL for a number of years. Pretty sure he was the one who handled that.
Yeah. There's
the big check. You wanted that big check. It was $500 for monthly winners, and then the winner would get $2,500 for Girl Next Door of the Year.
Real prize. The big check thing is always funny because in the movie Semi-Pro with Will Ferrell, the stoner hippie who hits the half-court shot, he's given a giant check of money that Jackie Moon doesn't have. And he says, Jackie, I took it to the bank. They said they won't take it. Can I get a smaller one? He goes, no, you just got to go to a bigger bank. The big check bank. So funny.
Looks like I'm in on the internet.
Hell yeah. We're back, baby.
All right.
This
wow,
podcast
32 people were waiting for us.
45% better.
Is that right? You think that's what the math is?
Yeah.
And that means I can retweet a cute boy from my, what is it, a Gift Depot Twitter account?
Honestly, if you didn't tweet out the cute boy, it wouldn't even feel like QFTA at all.
I kind of agree with you. We got some good questions in here, too. So that's why I was like, if I can't get on my email, what are we going to do here with this? Because the people, they send them in, and I appreciate it. TMCKERNAN at InsideSTL.com. All right, what am I doing right now, Jackson? I am retweeting with a cute boy gif.
Yeah, cute boy.
What is this, the TMA STL Twitter account?
That's right.
Is that where it came from?
Yep, that's correct.
I wonder what people think when they see the cute boy in their
They know it's time to answer some damn questions.
Yeah, go to YouTube,
what
see what it's doing.
Those in the know. Those who aren't in the know are probably somewhat concerned.
Yeah, that they. What's going on with you? What do you got going on this weekend for Super Bowl?
Super Bowl, probably a couple buddies' places. Gonna hit. I don't know. This Super Bowl just doesn't have me all that fired up.
I know. I was just seeing our guy Starter Packs was making that observation. He says this is the worst on his Instagram account, St. Louis Starter Packs, where Brett revealed himself on this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. That this is the worst Super Bowl since?
The worst Super Bowl since.
As far as hype goes.
Yeah, boy, now I'm thinking.
But it's not fair. He's going back to when you were like 4 or 5.
Okay. Look, that would have been one of those Ravens Super Bowls.
It was Raiders and the Buccaneers. Two quarterbacks, Rich Gannon, Brad Johnson.
Gruden coaching the Buccaneers at the time?
That's correct.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I literally didn't come to my mind.
Tim, you should do TMA Live from Enterprise on Friday during the NCAA tournament. That's from John Scores. I will be somewhere in warm weather.
Yeah.
So I have to tell you, my wife and I were talking last night because she is joining me on our trip for TMA Live from spring training, which might be the 20th year. It might be the 21st year. We'll get back to you on that.
Sure.
And we always go, her birthday is during the time that we're down there, so we like to be down there for that. And then Valentine's Day, which isn't important to her, but I really get into Valentine's Day.
Yeah, you're a little Cupid over there.
Thank you. Little Pesci, little Cupid.
Yeah, that's right.
So then the plan was to go back to Jupiter for my son's spring break.
Yeah.
And in my mind, I think of Jupiter and I think of when like we would live down there for an extended period of time. But then to just go down there for a week and have what is now a 4-year-old and an 8-year-old, and then my wife's parents live with us at the place that I get. Like, she goes, I just don't know what we would do each day. As kind of weird as that sounds, because it's not like it's like a vacation, and it's not like.
Yeah. You guys
follow me?
You guys used to go down there and do your day-to-day lives.
It was our lives. I mean, my son went to school down there.
Right, but you were just in a different location. Now it's a vacation where like itineraries,
right,
and things to do.
She's like, "Well, what do you want to do?" And I'm like, "I want to play golf." Yeah. But when I've gone down there in the past, I've done the show from down there, and then I'd be done at 12 Eastern.
Yeah.
And then be like, and at that time, my older son wasn't playing, and so he'd just ride with me. Now he's 8, not that that's old, but he's 8 and he does play a little bit. And it's not like they're like, oh, good. Yeah. These courses, we want 8-year-olds out there playing. So I don't know. So then I'm kind of like, maybe that's not the right move. And in the back of my mind, I'm sitting there going, if we're out of town and the Billikens are playing in the NCAA tournament, and if they're playing here against Illinois, there's nowhere I'd rather be than in St. Louis.
Right.
But then you can't hedge your entire trip.
Yeah, because we'll have to end up in Buffalo.
Right.
And then you got to go to Buffalo. Like you went to Wichita.
The Wichita thing was I still can't believe that. And anytime I picture that trip, I don't picture, who was it, Bennett Sturts?
Yeah.
And him banking in threes, throwing up prayers.
Unconscious.
I picture the sign, I feel like right when you get past Kansas City where it says 225 miles to Wichita. Ooh. And it just puts me in this like, that I'm like, I've already driven through Kansas City, and then I see a sign where I'm going, you have 225 miles of this, because there really isn't much.
It's nothing.
And I'm just like, that was really bad.
And that was vacation.
And that was my son's spring break. Now, he was 7, and he was just happy that the hotel had a pool and couldn't have been more thrilled. And he got really into the game, which was cool. But yeah, I can't do that again.
No, I respect that. 225 miles to Wichita is a good name for this title of this podcast.
Oh, I like that.
225 to Wichita.
Oh, God.
Yeah, not great. I completely, because you can't plan on SLU necessarily being here.
Don't even know that they're in.
Right.
What's more likely, Jackson Burkett?
Sure.
The Billikens being a 3-seed or better, or the Billikens, I'll say 4-seed or better. Billikens being a 4-seed or better, or the Billikens missing a Torre.
4-seed or better. But it's
You really
close.
believe that, or are you now worn down by Kwame Nvoyuki's fourth?
No, it's close. I think all the national buzz they're getting, like, kind of, you can take the buzz and the hype and the fun nature of the game that they're getting right now in the national spotlight, and that, like, kind of washes over the Stanford loss because the Stanford loss was so fluky. Like, even the March Madness official Twitter account tweeted out something about the Bills, and it was like, if it wasn't for a last-second buzzer beater by Stanford, they'd be undefeated.
I know.
So people are aware. I think that them making the tournament at this moment, looking how it looks in the rest of the schedule, I'm pretty certain on it.
But watch this. They've only played one team from, what do you call it in basketball?
Power 5.
They use a Power 5. Okay.
Because I count the Big East.
There's only one. They've only played one team from the Power 5 this year.
Yeah, right.
And they lost.
No denying.
So that's what's actually being also said.
Sure.
As well. Now, I think when people watch, they go, "Holy crap, this team's exciting."
Right.
But understandably, most people haven't watched. You know, when they were playing Dayton around here, everybody watched on Friday night. Nationally, if you're watching a college basketball game, you were probably watching Michigan State.
Yeah, I think that it's tough. I think that, you know, the conversation around their Power 5 teams that they've played would maybe keep them out of a premier seeding, but I don't think it would keep them out of the big dance as a whole.
Yeah. But if they're playing here in St. Louis and I'm down there,
yeah, you'd be salty.
Oh yeah,
understandably so.
God Almighty, yeah. I suppose the only way that's happening is if they run the table.
Probably.
But they could be a 7 seed with one loss.
Yeah, I mean, I could definitely see just because of the caliber. But if they run the table and win the A-10 tournament, they will be 6 seed or better. I don't think a 7 seed is in the cards there. Although it's a good college basketball slate this year. There's a lot of great teams.
Mr. Burkett's rideshare program is in the YouTube chat, and he says CBS Sports has them at a 5 seed. Last I saw, Mizzou at the 11 seed playing USC for the play-in game, both in the Midwest region.
First round. I'd be cool with that.
They're in the first round?
That would. So the play-in is what they technically call the first round.
Oh, you take that stance. That's interesting.
That's what they call it. Not me.
I understand that.
Yeah, it's a field of 68. That's a tournament. That's a tournament bid if you play in one of those.
Mr. Burkett's rideshare, apologize to your son.
Yeah, please, if you would.
You think that's Jeff Burkett, who's Mr. Burkett's rideshare?
Chance in hell. Chance in hell. But I would love that. I just want them in. That's all I care about. I just want them in. I want all 3 teams.
How's Chairman Kurt? I literally just met with Chairman Kurt on some sound story business.
Yeah, I know.
And he's already in the YouTube chat. There's no way he could possibly be at his home in the 63109.
Yeah, maybe he's pulled over on the side of the road.
I think people do that.
Yeah, until the end of QFTA.
Have you taken a look at the cute boy I retweeted?
Let me take a look. You've been posting long GIFs recently. Like, one was like, I was like, this is going on 10 seconds of this boy ruffling his hair.
How come I'm comfortable with sending this out, but I was not comfortable with posting the whatever image the AI image that Chairman Kurt created of us being number 4 in mid-market?
Well, because this is far from a brag, posting a half-naked, probably 24-year-old with what is that, a tunic he's wearing?
Tunic.
It's like a cloth.
He's looking like he's wearing a gown where one strap's down
like
and revealing his boy breast.
Yeah, and ample at that. Handsome cat, butt chin, but that's okay.
Michael Douglas, the Douglas family has butt chins.
Yeah, Michael Douglas.
I thought that was considered to be attractive by lasses.
Really, a butt chin?
I don't know. Michael Douglas did well for himself. I'm sure Kirk Douglas did well for himself.
Absolutely. I don't think it's it's a negative or a positive, but the term butt chin doesn't, strike me as like, ooh, hot.
No, I know we have a lot of ladies who listen. So let us know if that's hot in the YouTube chat or by emailing me, McKernan at InsideSTL.com. Let me get to some emails here because otherwise I'll just sit here and talk on YouTube. And Jackson, we just won't get anywhere.
Right.
Unbelievable. But we got an erotic story.
No way.
But then it comes from Midge.
Oh, well. I'm coming at this with some...
But then the sign-off is bikini model Brittany.
Okay.
Is it possible that Midge... was Bikini Model Brittany all along? And Bikini Model Brittany is also Injun Joe's Cave Ride Magic Man?
Yeah, boy, this is...
I mean, this is...
Maybe there is 14 listeners, really.
I didn't think...
Well, the grammar on Midge is usually... It's
good?
usually short, but good. And Injun Joe
has problems.
staple is riding them with his toes.
Snow days, space, always remind me of my first lesbian experience.
Yeah, no, this sounds like him.
It was with my private fitness instructor, Tammy. I lost myself in the swirl of the strange, new, familiar softness of her. And then it's the grammatical period.
Right.
She smelled like someone I once knew. Our hands made quick work of each other's terrain. I was slender where she was curved. She was light where I was tense. I was firm where she was soft. Her fingers unraveled my nerves as they trailed down my back, releasing the frenzied butterflies from the hidden cage door I didn't know existed. I ran my fingers into the thick curls of her hair and pulled her gently by the base of her skull further into my kiss. In return, she clutched my hips to weave my deeper into her world. That's what's up, Buttercup. That's bikini model Brittany.
Yeah, that was.
There is an erotic story. First time in I don't know how long. Unbelievable what's going on here.
It does launch a question that I have. Is that anything that would sound like what the Penthouse Forum was? I don't know much about the Penthouse Forum.
Penthouse Forum kind of predates me even.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, believe it or not.
Yeah.
I think Penthouse Forum were guys basically writing things for other guys.
Yeah.
So they could pleasure themselves, which is obviously super hot.
Yeah. Boy, I'm just lucky that I grew up in the internet era. Didn't have to deal with magazines or Penthouse Forums. Or
you'd go into some like gas stations, some garden shops in South St. Louis off Hampton, and they would have Playboys. Yeah. So I had buddies, and legitimately this wasn't me, because if it was me, I'd be happy to say it. So I can't firsthand vouch for it, but I would say to like my buddy, I'm like, what do you want to do today? He goes, you want to go up to Bears? And I go, and I'm thinking like because all we did was play wiffle ball or fuzzball, corkball, bat, tennis ball. That's what we did. And I go, like, what's Bear? Like, what park is Bears? I knew of Barra Park on the hill.
Sure.
And he goes, the garden shop. I'm going, like kind of by the Burger King and Long John Silver's there across from the nicer Tilly's Park. Because there's one in Ladue, but this one's the nicer one.
Right, of course.
And I go, I just don't understand why we'd go. He goes, oh, you haven't heard they have Playboys in the bathroom.
In the bathroom? Ugh. Ooh. Shared. See, that's my issue with the magazine era.
Now, this for purpose of clarification, this was in the late 1980s.
Yeah.
So if you're like, ooh, I got to get over there.
Yeah, I don't think they'll still be there. Although if it was, that would be nice history. But that's the thing. It's like you're sharing. Like it's a lot of sharing. I feel like. Yeah, I don't. There's a great.
That's what it was like.
Yeah, there's a great moment in Sideways when Paul Giamatti's character is all down and out about himself, and he goes to the convenience store, and I think he asks for a Playboy or a Maxim, and the guy handed it to him. He goes, "No, I want the new issue," because he's clearly so up on it.
Well, it's hot. I mean, you can't say it's not hot.
It's really hot.
Let's see. I mean, otherwise I fall way behind in the YouTube chat. Libby J. Capra is fired up. No lie. Had to hit the brakes hard, and this check smacked me in the head. Alan Dadeville, the fast lane, cracked the top 5 in the Barrett Media Rank. That's huge. Congratulations to Anthony Stalter, doing business as Tony Stalter now on Spread Zone, and just on a heater. Yeah. I think he's 11-2 or 11-3 since changing his name to Tony Stalter.
I'm going to tail him for sure.
His process, it's one thing, it's like, I'm just like, I like this. He has a process. It's something else. He went 1-5 one week, and he's like, I'm done. He was really mad.
That's why he changed his name.
And he goes, my mom doesn't want me calling myself Tony, but screw it. I am Tony Stalter now.
Hell yeah.
And he's gone on a heater. Yeah. So congratulations to the fast lane. What BK and Ferrari are in there, too. This is huge. Kat texted me last night.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And what the hell? Let's see what I got here from the cat. Not that it was like hey, congrats on the bear ranking.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. All 3 shows. BK and Ferrari also ranked.
Oh, yeah? What are they ranked?
I think 9.
I thought you said everybody was in the top 5. You going to issue an apology or anything?
No, I'm going to issue what the hell.
How come they weren't in the top 5?
Yeah, that top 3, if you ask me.
Thank you. Let's see. There was a big uptick in giant checks in both Jefferson and St. Charles County. That's Chairman Kurt, who somehow was just in here but is in the YouTube chat. Yeah, you know what? I probably still have pictures from those events in my iCloud, which means I could scroll. I mean, I have a picture of Jim Edmonds and Mickey Carroll. It's like one of my first, at our Inside STL first anniversary party in 2006. That's one of the first images I have.
Yeah, it's probably like
in my
camera
iCloud.
phones like really became a thing.
Yeah, now that I think about it.
I mean,
because I didn't get an iPhone until 2008. I remember because there was no good, I guess it was Apple at the time, not Apple, AT&T Tower in Kirkwood.
Oh, really?
As crazy as that
crazy
sounds, to think, and so I'm like, and I kept saying, I'm like, I got this iPhone, but I don't get it because it doesn't work, not realizing that it was a tower thing. I mean, this all sounds absurd, but it was
so you
like
had the first iPhone, the first generation
Yes,
one?
I did. The literal first picture, this is legitimately, if I can help, I mean, you got to watch on YouTube in order to see it. TMA STL channel, 51 friends now in there. My first picture, see if there's any nudity here in this iCloud. It doesn't look like there is, but a lot of pictures of producer Joe and Jim Edmonds.
Which is the closest thing you can get to
Amen. How's this going to look on the on the YouTube? Show me how it's looking. Can you see? Can you tell?
So it's a picture of Mickey Carroll and Jim Edmonds next to each other. Yeah.
I'm now looking on my computer.
There's some good, images right
camera. There. You can see these are my first images on my iCloud.
Yeah, it looks good on the camera. I'm seeing it. Yeah, it's easy to tell. Jim Edmonds and Mickey
Carroll.
Carroll.
Those of you who, like 99% of you who just podcasted. But yes, my first image is Jim, and this was at the Inside STL first anniversary party. And then the picture next to that is, look at this. And I was skinny fat and I didn't know it.
Right.
Look at this. So you'll see this. This is the next picture. Can you see this?
All right. Looks like, Jay Jr.
No. It's the cat.
That's the cat? I'm sorry. It was a little blurry. Martin Kilcoyne there. Yeah. You're definitely heavier than you are now.
Yeah.
Like looks like a pretty decent
20
number.
pounds, I would say, especially when you're 5'2".
Yeah.
But then the girl was Jen Pickett, who was on the show as the entertainment reporter. Wonderful person.
Yeah.
Truly wonderful person. And I don't know why producer Joe's not in that picture. I don't know where we are.
It looks like a bar.
Yeah, I mean that's where we would certainly do things. God, look at that computer. It looks like what we would do with the remote from Jupiter here.
Right.
Anyway, I'll do more with just looking at my phone and telling you what I'm seeing. If anybody wants to sponsor that.
That's cool that you have all your photos you've ever taken saved into your iPhone.
I mean, I was already 30 years old then, you know?
Right. But I guarantee I don't have pictures from even my last iPhone.
Oh, really?
I mean, I've saved a couple, but not many. Photos and videos take up a lot of space on the phone.
Yeah,
but you iCloud it
up. Yeah,
it's like 99 cents.
It's amazing. I mean, there's some pictures I have in here that are. I mean, again, it's a guy looking at his phone talking about it, but it's since they apply to the show, therefore it's not just like this is where I hit a putt from 24 feet that I needed for $100.
But you'll share those images on the fan page whenever we do QFTA.
This is this is so random. And I guess it's kind of a significant moment in show history, actually, that, like, the next thing you see is a bunch of spring training pictures with Edmonds and producer Joe. And it's 2006. Joe was born in 79, so he's 26 probably here. I think he's, like, right around my brother Danny's birthday in March. He's 26 here. And Edmonds comes up to us, and it was so weird. I mean, now I'm friends with the guy, but I didn't really know him. And the way that this all happened, which is so strange, is MySpace was popular.
Yeah.
So this is taking you back. You weren't around for MySpace. I mean, you were alive, but you weren't on it.
No, I have no recollection of the site.
And I'm on there, and I'm sitting in my place, and I'm talking to my wife, and I go, I think Jim Edmonds is on MySpace, and it wouldn't have been calling DMing.
Right.
I don't even know what it would be called.
Instant messaging.
Yeah. But I knew him, obviously, but we were by no means friends ever had we hung out. Ever. Just never. And somehow the MySpace thing, and I guess communicating, IMing as you call it, and I think you're right, like laid a bit of a foundation. So then when we're down at spring training, at this point, I mean, he had had an incredible career, but they were still, 8 months away from winning the World Series. And he saw me and the cat and Martin and producer Joe doing what was the morning grind from spring training. I think first or second year of doing it. It couldn't have been more than the second year. And then he kept walking by the table like a fan wanting to be noticed where we were doing the show. And then he goes, and he just started yelling at us, but not madly, but like ripping us, but you could tell he wanted us to invite him over, except the rest of his team is working out. He goes, "You guys aren't even on the air. Who are you even talking to? Who's listening to you guys?" And then we're just like, "You want to come on?" And then so he sits down while the team is working out.
Sure. This is the benefits of being the best center fielder in baseball,
Absolutely. I guess. And this is why years later, how many years later? God, not that long later. 13 or 14, one or the other. I'm sitting there with Edmonds at the bar at PGA National with our respective wives, Jim with a different one now, but at the time, and we're drinking, and I guess I didn't have a kid, so it had to be one of Jim's kids is with us. It's 12 a.m. and I think his wife said I got to put the child to bed, and then LaRussa comes in.
Oh, nice skipper.
And so now it's me and my wife, LaRussa and Edmonds, and we'd all been enjoying a libation, and then Edmonds like, "I'm going to go to bed too." So then it's just me and my wife and Tony LaRussa, 1 a.m, and that is when a story that I know I've told, but from a baseball nerd perspective, some may enjoy hearing it again, some may have never heard it before. No, Edmonds was here when he said this. He's all worked up. And he goes, he puts his drink down and leans in toward me. And he goes, "Let me ask you something." I go, "What the fuck is this? Like, for real? Like, what are we doing? You're retired."
Yeah, 2 years
I've been
retired.
drinking probably for 8 hours.
Yeah.
I'm here with my wife. You got Edmonds here. Like, what are we doing? And he goes, "You ever make something up on the radio? Like, you ever knowingly make..." I go, "Absolutely not." And I actually got serious with that. I take that real seriously. And I still do 12 years later.
The Howard Stern thing from Private Parts.
I guess so, yeah. But he heard something. I don't remember what it was. When he was driving in San Francisco, he lives in I think he lives in East Bay, but either way, it was San Francisco Sports Talk Radio. And he's like, "I knew this guy." So I called in and off the air, and I told him how much bullshit I thought it was. And I'm like, "Yeah, I don't know what to say, And but before that, he goes, "I want to ask you a question, and I want you to answer it honestly." And I said, "Okay, I'll answer it honestly as long as I can ask you a question." I mean, obviously, I've been having some libations.
Yeah, a little liquid courage.
Absolutely. I go, "As long as I can ask you one."
Sure.
And so I used my bullet on, hey, in the 2012 NLDS, and I don't remember the exact scenario. All I know is this was the game that came back against the Nationals.
The Cosma game.
Cosma with the hit, and they were down by a bunch and came back. And Davey Johnson, who just passed away, was the manager of the Nationals. And if memory serves, Mott was on deck. And they could have pitched around. It might have been Cosma. And that would have forced the Cardinals to pinch hit from Mott with, I think, Tony Cruz, who was the backup catcher. But it would have burned Mott out of the game. Mm-hmm. And I'm sitting there going, "Oh, crap, they're going to walk Cosma to face Mott." Whoever it was. I don't know. All I know is Mott was on deck. And the Cardinals were down to Shelby Miller and Fernando Salas in the bullpen. And I remember texting with both Mark Mulder and Matt Vasgersian, he of the Cardinal engagement list.
Yeah.
While this is on. Joe McKernan, top pitcher. And they're like, "Holy crap, you're right. That was a huge miss." He pitches to him, the Cardinals, and Mott gets to stay in the game.
Right.
And the Cardinals win and go on to the NLCS. And NLCS, they certainly should have won, up 3-1 on the Giants. So I asked him that because I was really curious. I wanted to see if I was missing something. And here's a Hall of Fame manager, and I got a chance to ask him this. And he goes, "That's your question?" He goes, "That was so obvious even Stevie Wonder could see it." And I'm like, "God, you know what? Now not in the moment. Now, of course, I would imagine the fact that I asked that question is going to be criticized. You have to understand it's 1 or so in the morning. I've been drinking, and in my mind, this is something that I really wanted to bounce. It must have been 2013 because I don't know why I would have been thinking about it 2 years later. So it's like 5 months after the fact. What I would have asked him about, the hell happened with him and Ozzie Smith?
Yeah.
The hell's your thoughts on all the steroids?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, if you're gonna give me a free pass, and I think he would have honored it.
Yeah, off the record, not on the air. Or
Oh
anything.
yeah.
Like literally everything's
this
in
one
play.
is like this is a nothing.
Yeah.
This is just a baseball strategy question.
That's something you would ask on the radio.
Yeah. But I don't think he would like shit on Davy Johnson's managerial skills there.
Yeah.
But it's like yeah. So I'm down on that. Why are we talking about this?
We were going through pictures of your phone. Yeah. Edmonds, which was a significant show moment because then you do the show with Edmonds.
And then he, for whatever reason, goes, "You guys want to go to lunch?" And then the Cat and Martin had to do TV stuff. So producer Joe and I, who had nothing to do, were like, and I didn't play golf at the time. I'm like, okay, sure. So then we go to Palm Beach Gardens Mall, which you probably, you only have been there once.
I don't think I've ever been there.
But it's right across the street, actually, from where they do the TGL. TGL's behind like a Palm Beach State College or something like that. It's not like you can't see it, but it's right behind that dome. And then we go somewhere for lunch, and then he's like, "You guys just want to walk around?" And so now we're just like mall walking with Edmonds. And like he's looking at different protein shakes, and Joe's holding them up, taking pictures, giggling. It's a really dandy series of photos, I will tell you.
Sure.
But then he keeps popping up on the show, and then he goes, "You guys going back today or tomorrow?" And I go, "Yeah." And flying through Tampa to Birmingham to St. Louis.
Ooh.
And he goes, "I'm flying on Jerry Clinton's private jet because my wife's giving birth. You just want to fly with me?" Sure, no problem. And it was on that flight where he asked about buying a piece of Inside STL. And that became value because then I, again, 30 years old, became aware of raising capital to fund a business and get it off the ground. And then I sold other pieces of the business, which then allowed to have money to hire salespeople, to grow the business, to then take over ownership of TMA IP, to keep it going. And here we are, nearly 25 years later, after that little incident.
Yeah, not to mention doing the show with him, which helped with the 920 revenue
bridge
in a major way.
The Girl Next Door was a bridge. The Edmonds McKernan show, huge bridge, because 920 was, I don't know what I would have done there. And considering I signed my house over, I might be living with Jackson.
Yeah, be nice.
All right, let's see what we got going on here. Sounded like that hunk James Carlton had a question or two. He did. But I said, you got to email him in, otherwise I'll forget. And then that's not fair to James Carlton because he's a delight. And so there were two questions. The first one, and I'm paraphrasing. Well, do you remember what they were so I'm not butchering them? All right, what do we got? This is Jackson Burkett representing James Carlton.
The first one he mentioned about, people who went to a religious Catholic high school and how they aren't as religious in their adult life compared to public school friends he had who are more religious in their adult life. And have you noticed that trend? And if so, why do you think that is? And the second, I think, was most embarrassing moment in your life. Maybe on the radio, maybe not. I don't remember that.
Okay.
I don't remember if it was on air or not.
So you're a Jewish gentleman who went to public school.
Yeah.
Have you observed any of what James is referencing?
It's tough because Jewish kids, for my life, go to public school. They don't. There was one school for strictly Jewish school, but I think it's shut down. So all the kids that I knew were Jewish went to public school, usually Clayton, Parkway Central, Ladue, MICDS, Whitfield. So it's tough for me to gauge because there's so many Catholic or Christian schools in St. Louis, and there's not really many for Jewish people. Not complaining, that's just the case. So it's tough. But I would notice, just generally speaking, people my age aren't very religious. I don't know if I have a friend who consistently goes to church every week. I don't know if I have one single friend who does. Maybe one or two.
And that's because you refuse to associate with Gentiles. Why?
No, I live in the Midwest, dude. It's not really a choice.
You're saying this is different than the Upper East Side.
A little different, yeah. A little different than the coasts. But yeah, no, I don't know many people. Maybe I'm talking like peers, like people my age. I think I can only maybe one or two who are consistently going to church.
James noted, by the way, that this was in Texas.
Sure.
He grew up in Texas. Woodlands? Is that what it is?
That sounds right.
Feel like
Around Dallas, I thought.
I feel like I thought it was more Houston.
Okay, that could be the case.
Hell, I don't know. But either way, it's Texas, so that part's accurate. I can't speak to the going to a public school and then being more active in the religious communities, church, what have you, as you grow up and grow older. I can only speak to my high school and my experience. My theory, which will without question be condescending and elitist, but that's kind of the brand, isn't it?
Sure, yeah.
And that's what makes me everyman.
That's right. Your acceptance of being condescending makes you an everyman.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's something that the great Dick Wayner, who you only met one time, and it became one of your favorite people in the world.
I probably ran the board for 100 sound stories, and he was my favorite. Not a shot at anyone else's, but I just had a big smile on my face when he was talking.
I don't know how. So I recognize that the majority of people listening to this don't know who he is. He was the athletic director at St. Louis U High. He's still there, AD Emeritus, and was a theology teacher. And he is passionate about his faith, but not in a, I use the term modern-day Philistine. I think an in vogue term that might be more of the now would be nationalist. You talk about that on Twitter with Missouri.
Yeah, those are ever present.
Yeah,
as
we become theocracy, at least in some wings of our land. That is not. He actually talks the talk and walks the walk. So, you can't, he is somebody you would learn, this person really does believe and actually lives by what is taught as opposed to utilizing it to discriminate against people. So, what he said to me when he has heard me say this is, how did I miss you? How did we not get you? Because he feels like it's a failure on his part, because he was one of my theology teachers at St. Louis U High. And it's a line I've used often. So I know people have been listening for a long time, and I'm appreciative, but especially with 101, we have new listeners. And that is, I remember sitting in theology class my freshman year at St. Louis U High and wondering how somebody could not believe in God. I really do remember thinking that. I don't know why I was thinking that, but I do remember that. And then my senior year, I recall sitting there, and I can picture each teacher, not that it's relevant to the story, because I doubt, most would know the people. But so point being, I can remember where and when and who was involved and thinking, how could somebody possibly believe? Now, that's not me saying I know, because I don't think anybody does.
Right.
But that's where I was. And what I think Jesuit educations pride themselves on teaching is to question, and not just faith, but just in general, question/critical thinking. And in my case, where I arrived was, it doesn't hold up for me. But I'm not going to go running around doing podcasts telling people that they're dumb if they do believe.
Yeah.
Which I also think is something that is kind of in vogue. Although that might be more of a backlash to what, religion entering into law more often now in the last 5 to 10 years, actually, than I think it was in the first 3 decades of my life. But either way, that's where I arrived, and Mr. Wayner, I still call him Mr. Wayner, came in and did a sound story. And I don't know if it was during his sound story or when we were off air. He said, it just really bugs me. Were you there when he said this? Do you remember this? Or was this just me and him talking? I remember. It was at the KFNS studio, so I can picture the conversation. And he goes, I just look at you and I go, how did we not, I can't remember what the term was. He goes, how'd I miss you? How'd I lose you? I think is what it was. How'd I lose you? And I go, I don't look at it that way.
Right.
I would describe myself as a hopeful agnostic.
Right.
Hopeful, but don't know.
Yeah.
Hopeful that there's something, hopeful that it's real. I mean, a lot of what people's religions are simply by where they're born.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
So is everybody in Asia wrong?
Yeah, that's the thing.
And everybody in North America wrong if they're right in Asia? But it's for whatever reason, I feel like talking about religion might be the most taboo thing. Like I could sit here and talk about Keisha Gray's gangbang scene and be like more acceptable than me going into this. But that's where I am to James's question. So then, Jackson, one could say that if you're going to a school where the pride of the education, which again is a Jesuit education, is to question that for whatever reason. I don't know how that became a thing, but that is the thing, question. Because then if you arrive at the conclusion that you believe, then your faith is stronger because you didn't accept it as dogma.
Right.
You weren't told it has to be this way. You questioned it and you arrived. But sometimes the risk of the question is you don't arrive, or as Mr. Wayner said it with me, you lose me. But it's also taught that in a variety of different elements, certainly with how I analyze politics and what I think is genuine conversation and bullshit conversation. So, I would not have it any other way with regard to being taught to question. So when I'm a freshman in high school, and I think it was like the first handful of weeks, I'm fresh off of, I think this is a Catholic thing, the catechism. The catechism, have you ever heard of the catechism? At least in the 1980s and 90s, it was, you're reading dogma, but you're graded on your ability to remember it and write it out or say it. So with my memory, it was like a memory class.
Right.
Now, I don't know what the hell I'm saying. I'm just saying words, but I'm able to say them, and so I get an A in the class, but I don't know what the hell it is. But you're just reciting words. So if you said, okay, here's some chemistry, I wouldn't know what the hell I'm saying, but I could remember it.
Sure.
Because it's a test of memory. But it's being cloaked in religion as a religion class, but it's not a religion class. And then by the time you get to senior year, so I'm fresh off of catechism in Catholic grade school at St. Gabriel, then the religion class is not about dogma, it's about questions. So I specifically remember in Mr. Wayner's class, he introduced 10 theories as to Jesus really didn't resurrect from the dead, so what could have happened? And he introduced, so in other words, I mean, I would think there are a lot of Catholic schools that wouldn't even bring that.
Yeah.
I remember a nun at St. Gabriel, Sister Marie, she used to bang a ruler on the podium and go, hash! Yeah. She didn't like an answer, that's hash! We need to bring that back on TMA. Absolutely. Dan Jansen's call was hash!
Absolutely. Well, it's interesting because, both when I hear something like that, the idea of questioning, I'm not sure if it's Amish or Mennonite, they have when you reach a certain age, I think 15, 16, 17, you're allowed a couple of months in the traditional world, in the contemporary world, to see if you're still into it. You were raised and you really had no choice, but then you get to kind of test it out. And then if you want to go live in the contemporary world, you're free to. And if not, you can go back and you're going to be into it. And I think that's something interesting, similar to you. If you come out of this after we've asked all the questions of what could have possibly happened, you're still a firm believer. It's all right, you've gone through the paces. You've essentially, done a trial, and you've still come out on the other side. I am still a firm believer in this religion. I think it would make you stronger in that religion.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
And I think in my case, and hey, I get what my parents were trying to do. I think it was specifically my dad, actually. As long as you live in my house on Sundays, and this was when I was old enough to drive, so I'm 16, you're going to go to church on Sundays.
Sure.
And so I hated it.
Right. Which
then grew resistance. I get what they were trying to do, but then I had an aversion, whereas before I was just kind of indifferent.
Yeah.
So with regard to that, it encourages, the curriculum is to question, to develop whatever part of the brain
critical
is
thinking.
that creates critical thinking.
Yeah.
Exactly right. So that's where I arrived. So therefore, if one continues on that path in their education, they may arrive at, I just don't really believe in it. I believe in the message of it, but many religions have that message.
Right.
I also have found that over the last however many years, that some of the grossest people I've dealt with are some of the people who proudly proclaim their faith. As if it is a badge of honor or I interpret it to be as a get out of jail free card.
Yeah.
I can act like a complete fucking asshole to you, but I'm saved.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Right.
You read a different book than I read for 12 years, and then I studied religion at the University of Missouri as well. But me sitting here on a podcast isn't going to change anything. So so The Brighter Side of Blue, a podcast that you and I might wind up working with. I think the world of that podcast. God, those guys. They're great guys. Jackson met with them.
Really good guys. I've
been talking with them for a few months. It's a great pod. It's one current St. Louis police officer and four retired police officers. They've had these really good interviews, in particular as of late, but in general they do. And one of them was with John Hessel, who was the Kirkwood City attorney for during the shooting. And I know I've referenced the podcast here within the last couple of weeks because I've had a few people emailing saying, thank you for recommending it. God, what a great podcast. John Hessel's his name. And he tells a story. Cookie Thornton was the person who shot people that night in February of 2008. And he tells a story of, Cookie Thornton was coming for him. Other people were killed, but he was coming for multiple people. John was one of them. And I can't recall what the specific part of the story was. At one point, he throws a chair at Cookie Thornton, and it knocks him down, and it buys him time. At another time, there was something that happened. I mean, he's running around the council chambers trying to avoid a guy with guns to kill him. And he's like, I've told people that his father had passed away, I think, a year to the day of that council meeting. I mean, what are the chances? So it's a significant date in general for him. Yeah. And he goes, I've told people my dad was there with me. And he goes, these things happened that I could not have had happen without a third party that I could not see.
Yeah. Divine
that got me out of
intervention.
it. Exactly.
Yeah.
And he goes, and I know some people hear me say that and think I'm crazy, but I don't really care. This is what I believe. Yeah. And that, to me, if I could, for communicating what I think in the Beatitudes in the New Testament, that to me would be what I would think is somebody who is truly a person of Christian faith, which essentially is, I don't need to run around and tell you.
Right.
And if you don't believe it, that doesn't mean I'm going to tell you you're going to hell.
Yeah.
And if you don't believe it, then you're doomed. And if you don't believe it, then it's my responsibility to tell you you're wrong and you're a sinner. This is what I believe. People can look at me like I'm crazy. That's fine. This is what I believe. And there's not anybody who's going to change my mind. That would be so. That is how I tie the whole question that James Carlton poses together.
No, I always find religion and the question of how we got here and what happens after we're gone to be incredibly fascinating. I don't look at it as like, no, this is what's right and this is what's wrong and this is what is the answer, because how could you ever know? But I find all of it very fascinating, and I think evolution I find incredibly fascinating. I find simulation theory, which is obviously kind of out there, but might be as true as everything else, really, really interesting. And I find all sorts of religions really interesting because ultimately they have very similar messaging, very similar reasons why we're here, reasons or things that'll happen once we're gone. And so it always is frustrating, might be the wrong word, or just kind of sad to see how it kind of can create so much tension, religion. Because ultimately, how can anyone say definitively you're right or wrong about this? But I find all of it so interesting. I was reading something the other day, and I'm prefacing this by saying I don't know anything. I'm not saying this is the truth, but I found it interesting that if you're a firm believer in evolution, there's an argument to be made or a school of thought that human consciousness as we have right now was an evolutionary mistake. That we were never supposed to be this self-aware.
Yeah, right.
We were never supposed to be this self-conscious or this aware of our existence and aware of our death. And through natural selection, through evolution, we had to get smarter to get to where we are. And through that, we developed consciousness and awareness to the point where we were never supposed to. Other animals, by and large, don't have the same consciousness we do. Some do.
Gerbils
are the smartest of all the animals. But you don't see a lot of animals committing suicide because they're not really aware.
Are there any that do?
I think there's animals that develop depression They've talked
Really?
Well, they've talked about that with like killer whales or orcas in captivity. That dorsal fin that flops, they develop real depression and then show aggression. If you ever saw the documentary Blackfish,
I have. Yeah, absolutely.
About like the aggression that they feel inside. So there's some that have that, but like by and large, animals don't have that same kind of awareness and consciousness. And so like, maybe we weren't supposed to be that. And that's just a school of thought, but I found that really interesting, and all of the things I find interesting.
I'd never heard that theory before.
Yeah, it's just like, I find I can go on rabbit holes and read all this stuff for so long because it's like, there is no answer to it, and you only, I guess, find out the answer once you're dead. So it's like, why waste time on it? But it's not like I'm worrying about it. I'm just curious about like what other people think.
Check this out.
Yeah.
See if you know what these lyrics are from. What song? Because it comes from 1996, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you won't.
Sure.
We sit outside and argue all night long about a God we've never seen, but never fails to side with me.
I don't know.
We sit outside and argue all night long about a God we've never seen, but never fails to side with me.
It's a fantastic bit of songwriting right there. But I don't know. I don't have the slightest clue on who penned that.
I just looked in the YouTube chat to see if they get it, and somebody wrote Heim Bloom. It was not Heim Bloom.
But we can't be sure it wasn't Heim Bloom. Ghostwriter.
The answer is, of course, primitive radio god standing outside a broken phone booth with money in my hand. I doubt you necessarily know it by title, based on your facial reaction.
Yeah.
But if you heard it, you would recognize it.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's the name of the band, was Primitive Radio.
Yeah, I believe a one-hit wonder.
Got it. That's really good. That's a great lyric.
It's a wonderful lyric. And the sample is B.B. King's live version, too, How Blue Can You Get? But it's, and then the repeated in the chorus is, I've been downhearted, baby, since the day we met. But that's essentially, I would say that in politics right now, if one side is the party of God, then how can there be compromise? Because then constituents who support said party would say, well, then I'm siding on the opposite side of God, which then makes me the enemy.
Right.
So you have that going on right now. So therefore, it's great if you can say God's on our side. Any warring nation has got God on their side. It's amazing. I mean, it's fucking great.
Yep.
Then the two teams playing each other, thank God.
Right.
Goodness. So, I go back to my standing outside a broken phone booth with money in my hand. We sit outside and argue all night long about a God we've never seen, but never fails to side with me.
Right. That's fascinating.
Yeah, and I think that is, and it's a way to manipulate people. It's a very level one way to manipulate people.
Yeah.
By saying, well, you're going up against morals, family values. You're going up against God if you don't agree. This isn't God's word.
Yeah.
As if God had a passionate feeling on topics of 2026 that will get you elected if you side with said topic, or if you come out against, then you are against God, against families, apparently.
Yeah.
But that's the game. Circling back to the specific question that led to the discussion, James Carlton, I don't know on that. I have to say this. I think there may be something there. I guess what I would say is I can only speak to St. Louis U High, though.
Mm-hmm.
So is it the same thing for other kids who went to other Catholic schools in St. Louis? And then, as you said, it's not like these are all Catholic private schools. Like Westminster is Christian.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I don't know. It's an interesting observation, but I don't know. I had never had the observation.
Yeah,
because again, I only know about my own personal situation. I don't really talk about it with anybody, because anything I'd be talking about, it's like talking about the weather. I don't know what the hell's coming. Sure. I don't know.
Yeah, I have also a decent amount of friends who did go to private Catholic high schools. And,
private citizen Pete.
Yeah, and friends. And they don't go, like, people just don't go to church that often, Like, people in my generation, I've noticed, like, I've never, like, if we're playing golf on a Sunday morning, I don't think I've ever gotten a text from someone being like, well, I'm going to church first. I can't remember anybody, but I have family who's very religious. And
what about Hosier? And he said, "Take me to church."
Yeah. Once you break down the lyrics, I don't think it's necessarily a large endorsement of organized religion, but I love Hoser, by the way.
And then going back to MD 2020, as I went back into our YouTube chat, sounded like that hunk James Carlton had a question or two. That was the first question. What was the second question?
I think most embarrassing moment, but I think it was just in general, not necessarily on the radio.
God,
so many.
I have to say, this is where I'm grateful. This is one of the many reasons why I'm grateful for our audience, but that people have been listening as long, because I'm going to lean on the audience to provide me with the embarrassing moments.
Yeah.
So fire away.
Mine's
you can email
easy.
me, tmckernan@InsideSTL.com, or just post them in the YouTube chat. What do you have?
Mine's easy for on the radio.
So you started in December of 2020?
Yeah.
So we got 5 years and 2 months of work here.
Yeah, it was early.
I feel like I got it. But if you're saying it's early,
2022.
So we're here.
We're here.
God, I don't know.
So we hadn't yet tested out, or we didn't know if my microphone, when I was in my booth, when Plowboy was running the board, Iggy, you, and Doug in here, we had never, I never asked a question to someone on the phones from my booth. It was a simple button, but we just hadn't hit it because we'd only been here a month or two. And we had Ric Flair on the show, and I asked a full...
This wasn't embarrassing?
Embarrassing. I asked a full-throated question, and a goofy one. It was about the song he made with Metro Boomin and Offset, and what that did for his career later in life. And I'm most of the way through the question, and Rick, unbeknownst to any of us, couldn't hear me, so he thought it was just dead air for 8 seconds, and says... So you guys into... He's just was so what's up with you guys? Midway through my question, I was like, God damn it. And there was no way for me to recover because he can't hear me.
That I have to tell you, that makes me feel good for you that's your most embarrassing.
That's the most embarrassed I think I've ever been on the radio, because I was just literally sitting there, and I've no one around me, so I'm just I was what the hell what am I doing?
I mean, like I said, I feel like what I'm going to say, and then I'll get emails oh, remember when this happened? Remember when you did this? Remember this? And I'm oh yeah, I wasn't intentionally forgetting. This one, for whatever reason, when James brought this up when he was in studio, this is where I went, and it was embarrassing, but it wasn't embarrassing so much as I felt fucking terrible. You were 9 when this happened, I think, or 10 or something. We're doing a show from Wave Taco, and you know how we love doing remotes.
Yeah, it's the best.
And as you know, the program in part, it's Jackson Pollock. It's just all over the fucking place.
Just riffing.
Yeah. And it's at its best when it's just riffing.
Agreed.
That's why I'm anti-guess.
Yep.
Unless the guests are going to say something that, otherwise just anti-guess. And, I like to bullshit with the boys on the show and the people in YouTube chat or the texts, the callers, whatever the fuck it is, email. So anyway, when you're riffing, you can fuck up, but with zero malice,
right?
And I think if this happened now, even though again, I mean, I'm talking about something that was 18 years ago or 17 years ago, it might. I don't think I'd get fired. I don't know what had happened. I don't know because it's the game has absolutely changed in the sense that people are more actively trying to get you fired, I guess. Or maybe, I don't know. And I think social media contributes to that. And in 2008 or 9 when this happened, it wasn't around. Or it was around, but it wasn't like it is now. So, with that said, I don't know what the fuck we were talking about. But somebody brought up something, and I'm making sure I got the right person here. Yes. God. But I'm going to tell the story. So I made reference to, I don't know, like probably somebody was shitting on the show.
Yeah, right.
And so why don't you guys talk about this? And I said, I don't know, maybe Nan Wyatt's talking about it on KMOX. Well, Nan Wyatt, 5 or 6 years before then, had been killed. Mm-hmm. And I was just like,
yeah, I guess as soon as it came out of your mouth.
No, I don't think so. Okay. I don't know. I mean, my honest answer is I honestly don't know. Yeah. All I know is I was just like, when it was brought to my attention, I mean, of course I knew about the story. I knew that she was found dead in her house, but I'm just like, ugh.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it is embarrassing, but the real emotion is I felt fucking awful.
Right.
That's really what it was.
Right.
Embarrassing is like, I don't know, butter slipping and falling or something like that. This was like, but when you're saying all kinds of this dumb shit, and it's like, how have I not pulled one of those, I mean,
Right.
in nearly 2 decades since, but I don't know. It was 2008. All I know is we were at Wave Tacos, 2008, 2009, when we would do remotes from there. Ben Bishop, a judge for a Girl Next Door contest, wonderful.
Incredible.
And I was like, I just felt like, you just felt fucking
taste.
awful.
Right,
well,
yeah.
but bad taste would be,
Yeah, right.
So I'd refute that. Now, if it were to be in 2026, with the Post-Dispatch kind of in its situation, I don't know like how the coverage would be, but it definitely would get clicks. I mean, if you write
Oh, yeah, for sure.
write about especially this show and something we did wrong, it's a fucking, flies to shit. So I don't know if it would get me fired. I don't think it'd get me fired because there's no way anybody could say it was done with malice.
Right.
But I feel fucking terrible. Like that would be a case where I absolutely apologize and 100% mean it because it was just a absolute slip. Well, you should know better. Well, I do. I know that the woman had passed away and was killed. And it's just a fucking awful thing. Like you sit there and you go, God, you're essentially exposed out there for 4 hours every day.
Yeah.
Like you have an idea if somebody's a decent person, usually. Malcolm Gladwell, Blink. Is that the book you said you had read papers when you were talking about Malcolm Gladwell?
I think Outliers.
Outliers. I want to read that.
That one's like one of
Is
his...
that good?
Yeah, it was one of his earlier books. Let me make sure.
Yeah. But Blink, being that you can, tell in a blink, you can get a read. And that's just not what we do. We're sitting there making fun of somebody. Like you might be familiar with this, you might not. Daryl Kyle passed away in 2002. I know you know about that, but are you aware of the radio DJ story from that?
Mm-mm.
Really?
No.
This is going to get you going. This is the kind of thing I know you well enough to know that I think this is going to get you going. And I mean, hey, it's great in the sense that there's new listeners and some are certainly younger, and so here is the story. The disc jockey who made an on-air prank call to the widow of St. Louis Cardinal pitcher Daryl Kyle was fired, a radio station announced on Monday. KUPD-FM morning personality Bo Duran called Flynn Kyle at her hotel room and asked her if she had a date to Thursday's playoff game.
Ugh.
It didn't stop there, as Duran told Mrs. Kyle that she was hot.
Oh, my God.
The prank raised intense anger among the Cardinals and the city of St. Louis. KUPD suspended Duran last week, but advertisers pulled their spots from the station, and citizens continue to speak out against the stunt. In a written statement Monday, the GM said he was fired. In the statement released by the station, Duran said, "I am truly sorry for having offended Mrs. Kyle and the Cardinal organization." So that was, 4 months after he had passed away, and that was the backstory. So that's what.
God, that's fucking terrible.
That's what had happened with that. So on that, that's more of a, and that's just coming to mind, not because.
But that's like premeditated. Like there was a plan there. There was like a pre-show meeting probably or something like that where it's discussed and it's like kicked
That's
around.
what I'm saying.
Like what you said was you're ad-libbing, riffing. Stuff like that, unfortunately, can happen, and you immediately, like you said, felt bad about it. But something like that is like you've really thought this out, and you're like, yep, this is what I want to do. So that is, that's not even in the same world.
Right.
That's
that's one that stands out to me where you go, okay, that was pre-planned, and somebody had passed away, and you're,
like trying to make like a joke at the expense of the widow.
I mean, and it's been 4 months.
Yeah, it could be 4 years.
And I'm not sitting here going, mine was okay. I mean, it's not like
Right.
anybody even did anything. I
Right.
mean,
But context is important to all of it.
But a woman had passed away.
Sure.
It had been 6 years, I guess. But either way, I still felt fucking terrible. I mean, just absolutely felt fucking terrible. I'm sure there are things in life that stand out, but that's the one with the show. But like I said, I'm sure somebody's going to listen to this and go, my God, how'd you forget about this?
Right. But then, but at the same time, only you know the level of embarrassment that one would feel.
Right.
That you feel in the moment. So someone could send something in, but it might not be your answer to that. Oh, God, I'm just thinking about it. That's terrible.
Yeah, I had a feeling you wouldn't.
It's like not even like, it's not a good bit, and even in the slightest. It's terrible.
Let me see what I got in the YouTube chat. Then I got emails here, papers, because Midge wrote in with that erotic story. Was that hot?
It was something.
Yeah.
It was something.
Let's see what I got. Good afternoon, Mr. Tim and Jackson. That's from Toy Maltese family. Valentine's Day is the same day as the Mardi Gras parade. Not sure if that makes the parade more fun or not. I'll be out of town, Jackson. So you don't fly to Jupiter until Sunday morning. So you get to go to Mardi Gras.
Yeah, actually, like during the day is probably best because I'll need my beauty sleep that evening. But yeah, I like Mardi Gras a lot. My issue with it always is exiting Mardi Gras is always a pain because
you got so many ladies,
so much ass, man. No, it's because they block off like Soulard and then a mile around it. So like getting an Uber or getting someone to pick you up is a pain in the ass.
Can be a little cold.
Yeah, when the weather's good, it's really fun. But when it's cold, like really cold, yeah, it's not great.
Let's see. Jackson doesn't back up his photos to the cloud. It's like Iggy is in that body and running around. That's from Andrew Clay Long.
On some things, I'm very sentimental. On other things, it's like certain photos, I'm like totally cool on losing those, you know.
Let's see. I would tend to agree if he puts a major offer out, who knows what the DeWitts would do. I don't know what that's in reference to.
I think they're talking about possibly the Cardinals selling, or the DeWitts selling the Cardinals. I don't know.
Oh. Let's see. This now Wright's Tavern. Best onion ring in the game. Wright's Tavern.
You an onion ring guy?
I'm not, but the first time I ate there, Matt McGuire, who owns it, brought over onion rings for us.
Awesome.
In addition to, have you eaten there?
No.
I haven't either.
Sure. Right. Despite the previous 10 seconds of this podcast.
And Matt, of course, you want to guess where he went to high school?
U-High.
You
ate at the behind the dumpster
That's
after
where I
Lady in the
was with
Tramp
me and my
style.
wife.
Yeah, Tramp style.
But Joey Vitale, I don't know how or why, somehow knew we were eating there, and so he had to make these drinks, which really are they do have some great booze there. Then Matt got us onion rings, and then they have this famous like sundae, like you've just eaten this feast.
Yeah, sundae.
Yeah,
it
is.
Is it massive?
Monstrous.
It's like in a dish. Yeah.
But I mean, it's like this
Christ.
off the.
Yeah, so it's like a whole pint of ice cream.
It's a bunch of ice cream, but then like a bunch of like little tiny bowls with different like Reese's Pieces, chocolate chips, like Oreos crumbled up.
Yeah.
It's
diabetes.
It's just glorious.
Yeah,
it's just
awesome.
Glorious, much less the feast in between. But he did bring out onion rings, and I'm like, I guess I don't normally order them.
Yeah, same.
But then when he brought them out, I'm like, oh my God, this is.
They're really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm generally not an onion ring guy, but if like I think maybe Jack in the Box or something, you can get like half fries, half onion rings. That's a pretty good. Or like when an onion ring ends up in your basket of fries, like a little.
Oh, a little how do you do?
Yeah, like that's exactly right. It's a little how do you prize in the cereal box. It's really lovely.
Let's see. Keisha hit the pot pies hard. That's from Joshua. Oh no, is that true?
Really? I love pot pie. I think they maybe.
I haven't seen her in a while. I thought she retired.
I'm locked in on Ella Reese, baby. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and she doesn't have any pot pies. I can tell you that.
Let's see. What's on the menu for Super Bowl? Literally, as I'm sitting here, Chuck from Fenton Bar and Grill asked me if I needed to put an order in for Super Bowl.
It's good choice. Yeah.
It puts the man to the test.
It's a delicious play.
Oh, it puts the man to the test. Yeah, Fenton Bar and Grill and those wings and tenders. It's like in The Big Short when Steve Carell's character, mom picks him up and the teacher says he's questioning the word of God and the mom says, well, is he right? I don't recall that scene.
I don't either, but I love The Big Short.
So that's why I know you do, and I enjoy it as well, and I've watched it relatively recently, and I don't remember that scene.
I don't remember it at all.
But I think it might have been like how his brother died.
Yeah.
That part of it.
Right.
That's what it is. So I was thinking of like the interaction with him and Jeremy London, Brad Pitt is over in a bar in Europe.
That's right. I forget. Every time I watch Big Short, I forget that Brad Pitt's in it. It's such a delight every time. And Jeremy Strong.
Yes, Jeremy Strong. Yeah. Off subject, did you watch Bernie's breakdown of Chaim Bloom on the Cardinals' rebuild to the DeWitts?
I did not.
I didn't, but I'm trying to follow the sentence better, not making fun of it, just so I understand it. Off subject, did you watch Bernie's breakdown of Chaim Bloom on the Cardinals' rebuild to the DeWitts?
The to the DeWitts parts, I think, is a little confusing.
That's what throws me off.
Yeah, I know Bernie did a breakdown of like the direction of the Cardinals. My dad watched it.
Oh yeah, what did he have to do?
Spoke highly of it. Yeah, my dad loves.
Is Bernie in the Doug camp or in the me camp? I would imagine
somewhere in between, but probably closer to you.
Yeah,
somewhere definitely closer to you. But yeah, my dad watches all this stuff. My dad, retirement, he's got it all covered, man.
He's watching it all?
Watching it all, reading it all. He loves it.
All right, let me go into some emails here. Movie Boy and his mentor, Tim.
There we go. I'm good ranking of
You like that?
Yeah.
What would you say is the Mount Rushmore of St. Louis movies? Movies either set in St. Louis, filmed in St. Louis, or some combination of the two? 3 films came to mind immediately. Meet Me in St. Louis, filmed in California, but set in St. Louis.
Yep.
Escape from New York, infamously filmed in the St. Louis area because it resembled the post-war apocalypse.
Mm-hmm.
And Up in the Air, filmed primarily in St. Louis and set in various Midwest locations.
Mm-hmm.
However, I struggled to think of a fourth. Is there one I'm missing? I eventually settled on the Great St. Louis Bank Robbery, a 1959 film starring Steve McQueen that was both shot and set in St. Louis. Dishonorable mention goes to The Layover. Oh, no.
That's sick. I didn't know about the Steve McQueen movie, though. I got to watch that now.
A 2017 comedy directed by William H. Macy and starring Alexandra Daddario and Kate Upton. Filmed and set in St. Louis, but has a Rotten Tomatoes ranking of 0%.
That's tough. Not what you want. That's not what you want.
That's from Deep Voice, dude.
Despite some works right now that might be at 0%. My personal Mount Rushmore would go Meet Me in St. Louis for sure. I think it has to go in there. I'm going to lose Escape from New York, even though I like that movie. Keep Up in the Air. I'm going to put Vacation, National Lampoon's Vacation,
nice.
Even though it's not necessarily glowing. Look, it's Yo, Holmes, get back on the freeway. Incredible. And then for my fourth one, I will put, Parenthood.
That's when I read the email, I was like, I'm missing an Parenthood. Absolutely.
Parenthood.
That's the play.
Yep. There it is.
That's absolutely the
I love
play.
all 4 of those movies in their own right. Me being St. Louis is fantastic.
Oh, what about this?
Yeah.
The Veiled Prophet. Why you hate P's, T's, and A's, Jackson?
Yeah, it's true.
Wow. Up in the Air, Parenthood, P's, T's, and A's.
Yeah.
They're on there. You can fuck the right off or you want to on that one.
Yeah.
I don't know what to add.
Me being St. Louis, the great Judy Garland. So like now that becomes a question, which do I like more, Vacation or Planes, Trains, and Automobiles? And I don't know if I've been...
So I can go Vacation, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Yeah, Up in the
Parenthood, and Up in the Air.
Yeah, that can be yours.
That'll wrap it up.
So now
Thank you.
Now I'm stuck.
Now it's biased, of course.
Sure.
It's like an ESPN list done by the intern who was born in 2002.
Yeah.
Greatest games ever.
Yeah.
2012 on.
Yeah, right. Now I'm stuck asking myself, which do I like more, P's, T's, and A's, or Vacation? And I don't even want to answer that. I've definitely seen P's, T's, and A's more, and I think it's like the better movie, but I laugh harder at Vacation. Vacation makes me laugh every single time. Something new makes me laugh, so I'm going to, unfortunately, have to lose P's, T's, and A's.
Yeah, I could sit down. I mean,
but I don't watch Meet Me in St. Louis all that much.
Yeah, I'm surprised you're sticking with Meet Me in St. Louis.
But it's like P's, T's, and A's really only is in St. Louis for 10 minutes, and same with Vacation. But like Meet Me in St. Louis is that's a seminal film.
Seminal.
Yeah, I'll have to lose P's, T's, and A's.
Wow, what a moment!
It sucks.
That could really hurt Movie Boy going forward.
Yeah, well, we've withstood.
Let's see. This one just came in at 10:11 this morning. And if you have anything else in the YouTube chat, fire away. Otherwise, I'm going to land this plane. Okay. Hey, Jackson and Tim, every fan has the right to spend their money however they want. That part's unquestionable. But is it fair to say we should probably drop the whole best fans in baseball routine? Because right now it feels like a fraud. We cheer ex-players, we clap nostalgically, and we talk endlessly about how loyal and knowledgeable we are. But when the team is actually bad, we stop showing up. That's not loyalty. That's selective enthusiasm. You can hate the Cubs all you want, but give their fans credit. They showed up consistently through some truly awful years. You never heard about Wrigley being empty. Meanwhile, when things go south here, Busch Stadium's a ghost town. I grew up hearing my entire life how we were better than Cubs fans, smarter, more passionate, more devoted. But when the team struggles and we vanish, that claim doesn't really hold up. That's from the Hunchback of Von Castle. I understand where the Hunchback of Von Castle is coming from. I would say, and I hope that the Hunchback of Von Castle would agree with this, I don't think that that's anything that Jackson or I have ever said, so I don't know what to say. I mean, it's always kind of, I think it's been a byproduct of Cardinal marketing when they were building
the baseball heaven thing.
The new Busch Stadium, that it's baseball heaven.
Right.
And, you know, the best stadium in baseball for the best fans in baseball. That's where it came from. But that times out with the run in 2000, 2001, 2002, 2004, 2005, 2006. So, and then you had the 98, 99 McGuire years in there too, leading into it. So damn near a decade of something to go see. And even in 2003, I think they won as many games as the team won in 2006, except that team won the World Series. So, with that all established, I mean, it's such a...
Yeah.
Let me put it this way. And I feel real good about this take.
Yeah.
It's like I'm trying to get a threesome going.
Yeah, that's how you start it.
Is that how you do it?
It's like you got to rev the engine, baby.
There isn't anybody who would listen/watch this podcast who would ever call themselves the best fan in baseball and do it unironically.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah. In jest.
So therefore,
yeah, we of course have.
We aren't reaching the problem anyway, so to speak.
One of my favorite TMA STL shop designs ever was our B-Fib, Best Fans in Baseball. That's way up there for me.
Bring that back.
That is so funny. And I agree with Tim. Like, it's something that was a marketing thing. And like when you bring up Chicago, like Wrigley Field is a world famous stadium. It's more of a social attraction, I would say, than it is necessarily for the baseball game.
That's correct.
It's a much bigger city, although they have two teams. So,
yeah, but I mean, it is. You can go there, and I mean, we did Anna Marie's friends and my friends. We got a rooftop in August of 2011 for our bachelorette party.
Right.
I mean, at that time, it's my second marriage, and I'm 35. I don't need to be like snorting horse off some of you in Vegas or anything like that.
Right.
Didn't need to. I would be happy to.
Right.
And so we get a rooftop, and the Cardinals, a team that's 2 months away from winning the World Series, but not a soul watched the game.
Yeah.
So, and then we all afterwards went and drank and, kept the whole thing going. Super fun time. Doug went, producer Joe went. I believe that's when he called in for the Twinks Up, Bears Down phone call, and Doug's riding along in the car with him.
Was he calling into TMA?
No, it was like some...
Was it Mitch in the morning?
Sirius XM, like, gay radio show. Like, for real. I think it's gay radio. I think they have a LGBT... Yeah. It probably wasn't that in 2011.
Right.
But that's what it was. And Joe just called in and, delightful.
Yeah. That's really good. I love Projo for so many reasons.
And then the guy goes, Pops! No, they're called Pops now. You can play that. You can play that as a drop.
The Twinks Up, Bears Down is a great drop because it's just, all over the place. And, plus, like, in Chicago, people in the younger demographic who would go there more for a social scene, like Lincoln Park's real close to Wrigleyville and, certain, like, River North, even though it's a little further away, but, like, that's a very popular area for younger people. They're hanging out in that area anyways. You might as well hang around Wrigley or go to the game if they're cheap tickets. Whereas in St. Louis, if people my age aren't hanging out at Busch Stadium, they're not even probably close to Busch Stadium. They'd be much further away. And it's not necessarily a city you can walk real easily, where Chicago is. So I'd say there's a lot of external factors into that, but I'm not saying that one fan base is better than the other, because who would give a shit?
That is also something I subscribe to. But yeah, I can go to a Cardinal Cub game or just a Cub game and just be like, I'm just going to sit here and I'm going to drink beer, and then we're going to go to some bars. Yeah. And it'll be 7 o'clock, and I'll be like, oh my God, I'm wasted, and have a great time and not care about the game.
Right.
For Cardinal game, I can do the same thing, but as you mentioned, it's a little more.
Yeah, you're committing a lot more for the Cardinal game, whereas like you might, like I don't think there's a big contingency of people who would go just to Ballpark Village for a Cardinal game and not go in and just hang around that area.
Yeah.
Whereas you can absolutely do that around Wrigleyville and not go into the game.
You can always email in for QFTA, T. McKernan at InsideSTL.com. Thank you to those of you who were watching in the YouTube chat and who always listen to this podcast. We appreciate the support and the support of the sponsors. Design Air, Heating and Cooling. That's at Seth Goldcamp. James Carlton, Carlton State Farm Insurance Agency, carltoninsurance.net. And Mark Hanna, Evergreen Wealth Strategies, evergreen-ws.com. For Jackson Burkett, I'm Tim McKernan. This has been the Tim McKernan Show podcast.